Over the years, as I've coached women and helped answer multiple questions about dating and relationships, there's one question that always seems to come up. And that question is, how do I know if a guy is serious about me? Ladies, I get it. The last thing you want to do is invest your time, your energy, your emotions into a guy that you really, really like, just to find out in a few weeks or months he's full of you know what. So what I want to do is come on here today, help you with the 6 strategies or tips that can give you a pretty good confidence on whether you are wasting your time with this guy or whether this relationship has real potential. All right. And if this is your first time to my channel, my name is Charles McMillan Jr. I am a relationship improvement coach. My channel is geared towards helping women with dating and relationship advice to get the type of love and relationship that you really want. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so the last thing I want any woman listening to this is to be in a situation where they're wasting time. Because guys, when it comes to finding love, serious relationship, we don't have time to waste with someone who's not serious. So let's get into those tips that will help you navigate and determine if this guy is someone that you should take seriously or if this is someone you should just kick to the curb. All right. The first tip, if he is giving you consistent communication. Yes. If you're with a guy and the consistency with the communication is on point, he calls when he says he's going to call. He texts when he says he's going to text. You know, if you guys make plans to go out, he's solid on those plans. Or if something comes up, he communicates to you something came up. But if you're with a guy, and ladies, you've all met this guy where, you know, you get his number, you have a great conversation, you don't hear from him for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or better yet, you've made plans to go out, you don't hear from him, and he comes back to you with this flaky excuse about what happened. So that's not a good sign. But if you meet a guy and you guys have a great connection and his communication is on point, that is a good sign that this relationship is going in the right direction. All right. Here's the second thing that is a good indicator on if this relationship can move forward. Does he make sex a priority? Now, every man, if they're with a beautiful woman, at some point, they want to put sex on the table. But here's a little secret. When a man really is serious about getting to know you, he will not make sex a priority. Matter of fact, he won't even bring up the topic. Now, it may come up organically over the next couple of weeks or even a month, but best assured, a man that's serious is going to let you lead that conversation. Now, if you're on the first date and he's already throwing out those buying signs like, hey, what's your favorite position? What are the things you like to do in the bedroom? Or he's making a lot of sexual innuendos, trying to be very flirty, very touchy. That's a sign that this guy may not be serious. Because again, any man that is really serious about you, he is not rushing sex. Now, hey, a man is going to be a man. Now, if he goes on a date, he looks at you as someone serious and you are just making it so hard for him to resist, oh, he's going to take you up on it. But in the general scheme of things, if this is someone that really wants to get to know you, get to understand that this is someone he wants to take seriously, he is not making sex a priority, okay? That's number 2. The third tip to give you an indicator that this guy may have some potential is he introduces you to the important people in his life. And I'm not just talking about coworkers. I'm talking about family, friends. If this guy over the next couple of weeks or months makes a point to introduce you to some of his family, some of his friends, that's a good sign. Because let me tell you something, men who are serious, they don't bring just anybody around family and friends. They're not bringing every Sue, Karen, or Kelly that they meet to around their friends or around their family. But one thing you got to be careful of is if you do meet a guy and you're saying to yourself, well, you know what, I have met 1 or 2 of his friends. Sometimes a guy will have those set group of friends that, you know, they know all the dirt, they know everything that's going on, and they just bring you around to kind of appease you. What I'm talking about is those deep-rooted relationships, mainly parents or sisters or brothers, or even brings you to a work event. I'm telling you, when a man is bringing you around some of his coworkers, that lets you know that this relationship may be going in the right direction. But if you're dating a guy right now and it's been a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and it doesn't seem like he's, really engaging you in that arena, or he's not bringing you around some important people, that's a red flag that you need to raise your eyebrow and look at things a little bit deeper. All right. The fourth reason, or the fourth sign to show you that there may be some potential with this future guy, is he doesn't mind discussing his future with you. So think about it like this. You've been dating a guy, you're bringing up plans about, Christmas could be coming up, Thanksgiving, or a trip. And he says things like, if things continue to go forward, I would love for you to come by my house for Thanksgiving. Or, I've been planning this trip to Las Vegas or whatever. Hey, if things go well, it'll be nice for you and I to do that together. When a guy is starting to include you in a possible future with him, that's a sign that there's some interest there. But let's look at it on the flip side. If you're with a guy and the conversation's very vague, very surface, very about right now, and he only wants to focus about the immediate future, that's just a sign that this guy is not taking you seriously, or he's not looking for you to be somebody he can be in a serious long-term relationship with. Now, he may want to be in a short-term sexual relationship with you, but what I'm trying to do for you is help you get to the finish line to find value in a loving and healthy relationship. So if this guy is not discussing the future, or you bring up possible future plans with him and he's giving you this all shucks, or yeah, we can talk about that later, or I'm not one of those guys that really lives for the future. I kind of live in the present. That is a sign that this guy may not be right for you. All right. Now, before we move on, ladies, if this is some content that you really like, I would appreciate it if you like, subscribe, but most importantly, share this video. The more women I can help, the better. All right. Thank you so much for that. Okay, let's go into number 5. And this is important. You can be yourself. Woo, it's nothing more gratifying than when you find somebody that not only you are attracted to them, you get along with them, they're communicating with you, you can talk about the future, you have fun together, you're meeting all his friends and his families, but you can be yourself. He laughs at your jokes, whether they're funny or that they corny and they suck, whatever. You can be yourself. You can talk about the things you want in the future, your fears, your goals. There's some of you out there that have some goals in life that you may not have told anybody else, but telling him, you feel great about it. You can be yourself, and you don't mind being silly. You don't mind being goofy. Because we all know when we go on a first date, it's like going on a job interview. We are, everything's buttoned up. We're putting our best foot forward. Sometimes they say we're putting up for a representative. But as you know, as time goes on, that facade must come down and you must be yourself. Now, there's some women out there and there's some men out there that they keep that representative going for days, weeks, months, even a year. And then it finally comes down and you're like, who in the hell is this person? So, but you're with the guy, you can be yourself. He's okay if you wear 4-inch heels, but he's okay if you just wear tennis shoes and you just kick it with some jeans. The point is, you don't feel like you're putting on this facade or this show, or you have to walk on eggshells. You honestly can just be yourself. That is a great sign. But as always, on the flip side, if you are with a guy, I don't care how attracted you are to him. I don't care how much of a connection you have. I don't care how much he communicates. But if you cannot be yourself, if you have to keep up a representative, it will be exhausting. It will be draining. Quick story. I was coaching a young lady and she was dating a guy. It had gotten serious that, they were living together. And the guy made a comment that, believe it or not, he likes his woman when he wakes up in the morning. He likes her to have her makeup done, ready, looking good. Even if they're not waking up all the way yet, he prefers when he turns around that her teeth are brushed, Her makeup is already done. That's what he wants to look at. And I asked her, I said, do you think you can keep this up for perpetuity? And she honestly couldn't, but she wanted love so badly. So again, I'm not saying just do anything for love, but if there's some issues there's something that you have a concern with, silence will not get you what you want. All right, here is the last one. And what I just talked about just now will kind of lead into this. All right. The man you're with is willing to make a correction. Now, what do I mean by that? Anytime you are in a relationship, you're going to, at some point, whether it's the first date, second date, or even on a phone call, that you may hear something or he may say something that you don't particularly care for. And I tell women all the time, if you see something that bothers you, or if you see a red flag, don't immediately run. That's what we all do, men and women. Usually when we see a red flag, we're out. I'm trying to teach you to address the red flag first, because it could be a simple misunderstanding. And what I mean by that, I'll give you another quick story. I was dealing with a young lady who met a guy. They had a great time. And when it came time to pay the bill, and that bill, and the waiter brought the bill to the table, it was like a standoff. He's looking at her, she's looking at him, she's looking at him, he's looking at her. And so finally, out of frustration, she picked up the bill, paid for it, and never talked to the guy again. Fast forward 3 years later, she bumped into him at a conference, found out that, they're in the same industry, and they ended up connecting years later. And she playfully asked him, why didn't you pay the bill? I just thought that was so rude. Guess what he told her? He told her that he had recently been out of, he's been in a relationship for a while, got out of it, started dating again. And he said the first 2 women he dated, he tried to pay the bill and they gave him so much grief. Like, what, you think I'm gonna do something? You think sex is on the table because you pay my bill? You think I'm gonna do this? You think I'm gonna do that? I can take care of myself. And so it freaked him out. And so that's what happened. He didn't pay the bill. But get this, the next date he went on, after he went on the date with the young lady I'm just speaking about, same thing came up. But here's what she did differently. She asked a question. She said, why don't you want to pay the bill? I'm a young lady that appreciates a man being somewhat chivalrous. I'm old fashioned. And he told her exactly what happened, and he communicated, and get this, him and that young lady ended up getting married. So 2 things I want to address here. 1, don't run from red flags, address them. But if the man is serious about you, let's see how he addresses and how he responds to your concerns. I always say it's not about how a man treats you without you telling him anything. It's about when you tell him you have an issue with something, how does he respond to it? Does he respond with love? Does he respond with compassion? Does he respond with understanding? Or is he being dismissive? Does he roll his eyes? Or is he someone that just doesn't care about what you have to say? That's the key. A guy that's serious about you and really cares about your feelings, he's going to really take heed to some of the concerns and some of the things that you have to say. But a guy that knows that he's not going to be here that long, that he's really not trying to invest that amount of time, he doesn't really care. So all he's going to do is say, okay, yeah, I hear you. And then he's going to go with witness protection. You're not going to hear from him again. And he's going to move to someone else that gives him, in quote unquote, less of a headache. All right. So guys, I hope this helped. These are some simple tips that I want you to apply. If you see some of these things going on in a relationship while you're trying to get to know a guy, these are some great things that will give you an indicator that this relationship is on the right track. Is it a guarantee that it'll work out? No, but I hope this helps and gets you in the right direction. All right, guys, welcome to my page. I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.